Welcome back everyone to your favorite movie review channel, Man Cinema Reviews. Back at it again, new month, November, already starting off with a heater. We got plenty of new films that are already anticipated for the end of the year, probably and hopefully ending up on the best ofs. Let's go ahead and rock with our latest film review of Sofia Coppola's Priscilla. But before we get to that, go ahead and press like, subscribe, and you know what to do. Hit the notification bell as well to notify you of any and all reviews and the like to this channel. Thank you very much for choosing Man Cinema Reviews. When teenager Priscilla Bailu meets Elvis Presley at a party, the man who's already a huge rock and roll superstar on the rise becomes someone entirely unexpected to her. At one moment, he can be a thrilling crush, an ally in loneliness in the next, and a gentle best friend. Now, this is director, writer Sofia Coppola's latest biopic in the perspective of Priscilla Presley. Now, we know we already got the meteoric film by Baz Luhrmann last year of Elvis. And in that film, we had Austin Butler and Tom Hanks helming that. And you know me, I was very mixed to just unimpressed with that film. Now with Sofia Coppola's direction, she's very subtle, she's very quiet, there are endearing moments, and there is kind of a bottled film here. You're in the perspective of a young Priscilla. Now Priscilla was definitely a minor once she met Elvis Presley. You gotta remember, when she met Elvis, she was 14 years old. He is 10 years her senior. He is already a grown-ass 24-year-old. So when you get the meetup, they meet in Germany where her family is stationed. You gotta remember, this is the time where Elvis Presley is in the service. He is lonely, he's missing his family. She is a local Texas girl, so there is a connection there, both being from the South. He misses his mother who had just passed, and so he's at a vulnerable spot in his life when he meets Priscilla. And this is played by Jacob Elordi and Cailee Spaeny, respectively, in the roles of Elvis Presley and Priscilla Presley. And so Jacob Elordi, a very aggressive, very dominant figure. If you know his work from Euphoria, this is definitely a man that has a tall stature at a tall height of 6'3" or 6'5", I believe, and he just towers over Cailee Spaeny, who is this just young, vulnerable, highly impressionable young girl. And that makes more of an uncomfortable feel. It makes for a film that is not shying away from how very troubling and very predatory this relationship was in the initial stages. She is just recruited when she's a young girl. She is asked upon her parents, remember she is a minor, she is asked to go to this party that Elvis is holding where there's just a bunch of grown adults allowing Elvis to parade around with this 14-year-old highly impressionable girl. And in that way, I think Sofia Coppola gives a new perspective, a refreshing perspective, and not highlighting the man, the myth, the legend, Elvis Presley, but you know this man is with his faults. You know that he was vulnerable, but you know there was some predatory issues going on. You know that he preyed upon Priscilla, being that she was young. Not saying that, you know, Elvis Presley was, you know, robbing the cradle, which he was, but there was this kind of reoccurring event when the two meet up. Yes, there's sparks, there's electricity, there's fire, there's this kinetic energy that's passionate, that's very vulnerable, very true, but very predatory, and that's what makes this film a definitely fresh perspective. However, this is the entire vibe of this film. Sofia Coppola directs this with gusto. I trust her. She's one of my favorite filmmakers. I love her work, and I knew that she could do no wrong at the helm of the director's chair here. She is actually the perfect director to helm this film, and with the material that she has, she writes and directs this film with ease, with gusto, with care, with love, with perspective, with respect. But there is a story to tell here where you want to push the envelope. You want to push the boundaries of what Elvis and Priscilla's relationship was. But there is that side of Elvis that knows that he can't fully entertain the thought of passionately making love to this young girl. He has to wait when she is done with her schoolwork. However, there is a guardianship that his father takes on. He wants her to be in his residence once he's off doing, pictures in Hollywood. He wants Priscilla there at all times at his beck and call. But this is in the perspective of Priscilla, and it's a young girl, highly impressionable, that just really her childhood was definitely robbed of her. This is a perspective of a lonely girl that grows up to be a woman, that grows up too fast, too soon, and there is substance abuse there. That Elvis, he has to realize that he has prescription drugs that help him with his state of going to sleep and being aware, but you gotta remember, she's a little girl, the dosage is off. So there is moments here where he puts her life in danger. But Jacob Elordi and Cailee Spaeny really do complement one another. Yes, he towers over her, but again, this is set up to where it is a girl and a man that fall in love. And already that perspective is troubling, but Sofia Coppola handles the material with growth, maturity. However, it is a very daunting and very slow and very sad and very somber film. It definitely is not a film that makes you feel good afterwards. In fact, with the running time of it is, I just wanted to shed some levity, shed some light. Priscilla was more than Elvis's girl. She was a woman of her own inhibitions, and she had her own autonomy. However, you get glimpses of this towards the end. And I really do think that there should have been more of that light that was shed on Priscilla, and the predatory nature of Elvis and Priscilla is highlighted in this film. But that's really the vibe of the whole film, and that's what makes me feel kind of uneasy and uneven with this film. I love the way this film is shot, directed, scored. It's edited well. The pacing is great. However, it ends abruptly, and you want a little bit more of a conviction at the end. You want to get her flowers too. You want to make sure that she breaks away from the chains of this vulnerable and highly predatory relationship, but you don't get that levity, and maybe that was the point. However, I just came out of the film just feeling really uneasy and very somber, very sad, but maybe that was the point in case with Sofia Coppola's Priscilla. I will tell you that it is definitely a step up from last year's Elvis, which I could not stand. I'm glad there's no Colonel. That Tom Hanks perspective really killed me. That portrayal is atrocious, makes me dislike the film even more. But it really centers on Elvis and Priscilla's relationship and how it develops, how it blossoms, and how it unravels and ultimately ends with Elvis Presley dying fairly soon thereafter once they split. This film, Priscilla, is well made, well shot. It just isn't a feel-good film, and you kind of want to ponder what was the point out of all of this. What do we shed light to? What do we highlight as far as Priscilla's perspective? Or is it just she was at her beck and call, she was there when he needed him, she was his blanket? I think there was more of a story to Priscilla that we just didn't get to see. We could have saw her growth afterwards, raising Lisa Marie Presley after Elvis has passed away, but they don't shed that light, and maybe that was the point. However, I just think that there was more to Priscilla than meets the eye. Priscilla still is a grandstanding, great film. Sofia Coppola at the top of her peak, her game, and I will give this film a strong 4 stars. Definitely blows last year's Elvis out of the water, and I'm glad and I'm here for it. What did you think? Did you like Priscilla? Let me know in the comments down below, and we'll see you on the next review. Thank you very much. This is Man Cinema Reviews.